What's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. I feel like the, boxing announcer where he's like, let's get ready to rumble. And I don't know if you guys actually noticed, but that guy, and I forget their names right now. Matt would probably know their names, but the brother of that guy who does Let's Get Ready to Rumble does UFC. And he has his own spiel. I forget what it is, but it's not as good as Let's Get Ready to Rumble. It's just not. But anyways, I always remember the Tyson fights back in the day. Let's get ready to rumble. By the way, Evander Holyfield got his ass kicked this weekend, unfortunately. Poor old guy. He's 58 years old. Matt, let me bring him on for some quick commentary. Did you hear or see the highlights of that one?
No, who did he fight?
He fought some guy who kicked his ass. I mean, I don't know. Holyfield looked like he was literally on his heels. He's 58 years old.
Yeah,
he needs to come do affiliate marketing and, stay out of the ring. All right, you guys will hear more from Matt on Wednesday. Don't miss Wednesdays. And, of course, don't miss Thursday blueprint trainings for, all of you blueprint students. Matt does a live coaching session for our blueprint students every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Also, we have a decade in a day coming up this Friday for any of you who have enrolled in the business blueprints. That training class is coming up on this Friday for those students who have enrolled in the last week. We do that every 2 weeks or so. So get ready for that. That's an awesome day of training. And when you enroll in the business blueprints, we get you right into a full day to where we hold you hostage and we sort of download from our brains into your brain all the information that you need to get going now versus, sitting in the classroom like many of the online courses will have you doing out there, watching endless videos. We absolutely have course instruction in videos, but we also have a process that gets you right in to taking action and generating leads right away, okay, for your business. So if you're in the business blueprints, get ready for that. You'll also see Matt on Friday in the decade in the day training. Listen, we had a guest that was coming on this morning named Tyler, okay, Tyler Van Keeken, and he's out in the middle of basically BFE, Canada, and we don't know if he overslept or if his internet's not working, but anyways, we're not able to get a hold of him. And so he was going to talk about the fact that he was a paramedic and basically has gone from, saving other people's lives to saving his own life. And, that got me thinking a lot about as I was reading that this morning, sort of preparing to speak with him, it got me thinking about how so many of us, really spend our lives saving everybody else, and with children, we of course spend our life saving their life. I saved my son's life probably 50 times this weekend. He's 9 months old and he takes nose dives off the bed, and we go swimming in the pool, and I'm trying to teach him about ledges and drop offs so he doesn't just, walk off things and break his neck. But then we go to school, and we then, behave ourselves and get good grades and listen to the teacher, and we essentially save their jobs, right? Because if we don't listen and we don't get good scores on our tests, those teachers would probably get replaced. And then we do the same in college, and then we go and we get jobs, and we save our bosses, life essentially, or whoever we're working for. And in some cases, we actually save other people's lives as Tyler does in his paramedic job. And then some of us, this is where it gets tricky, become people pleasers in our lives. We become yes men, yes women, and we put everybody else first. I think I know a lot of women who are like this, who sort of step into that role of caregivers. And after their children are, up out of the house, or I know one particular lady who's our nanny, um, who, actually got divorced after a very long marriage and spent her whole life, not only in many jobs where she helped other families with their kids and so forth, but also, of course, helped her family raise her children. And then she got divorced. Her ex-husband acted very nasty. She actually just told me this morning that he took down pictures of their vacations and magnets and pins and sort of erased her out of the entire home. And many of us are left at our mid 40s or 50s or even 60s, taking care of people our entire lives, being caregivers, or always putting everybody else ahead of us. And finally we wake up and we realize at a certain point that, damn, it's time for me to take care of myself. Sort of like in the airplane, how how they instruct you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on others. You can only save others if you first save yourself. And I think that is very true. And it's a mindset that we have to adopt as entrepreneurs, that many of us have these goals and aspirations, that we want to help people, and we want to save the children, and we want to donate to our churches or donate to causes, or we want to help our family members that we love. And it's just never going to happen unless you put the oxygen masks on yourself first. And I just actually had a fantastic experience doing this. Last week, I shared this on one of the Wake Up shows last week, but just last week, I was able to do something really special for somebody that I love. Let me pull up the picture of it. All right. And this is a great example of me, having the ability to be able to do something nice for somebody that I love. Now, some of you have seen the picture of, or the video of my dad, me giving my dad a truck. And I have bought my mom a car before. I bought her a car back in 2013. But this car that I bought her the other day, this just happened last week. I bought her a BMW X3, real cool, real sexy car. And this is what she wanted also, by the way, when she said, because at first she came over to my house and she was like, well, I want to buy a new car. And I just wonder what your advice is on what kind of a car I should buy. And I said, Erin is my wife. Erin and I were talking, and, we decided that we wanted to buy a car for you. And, that initial shock, that look on her face was really fun, was really priceless. And so over the course of Wednesday and Thursday, last week, my mom and I drove around all over town, and we went car shopping, and we finally, found the car that she absolutely loved. And it was this BMW, brand new, 2022, 18 miles on it, with all the warranties and all the bells and whistles and the real leather and the sport package. And, I was actually proud of her for getting the sport package, blacked out and everything, because I would have thought she would have gone for some more, some of the chrome or some of the more kind of basic stuff. But anyways, here's my point, is that this car was possible for me to buy my mom because I put the oxygen mask on myself first. I went and took care of me. I went and took care of my finances. I focused on my business. And as a matter of fact, back in the day, when I was very first starting out, my mom was the one, and I'm going to go ahead and bring on our guest because I see that he's here. Tyler, what's going on, my brother?
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you could join us. Listen, I'm telling a story about how I started to take care of myself and sort of save my own life, and I was able to start, helping and saving others, I guess, if you will, at least of some financial hardship, right? Or some sort of struggle, or in my mom's case, she was the one who gave me a $10,000 loan back 10 or 12 years ago at this point. Actually, it was 12 years ago because it was 2011. Well, it was actually 10 years ago exactly. And I was able to pay her that money back, and I bought her a car back in 2013, a Honda Pilot. But she yeah, man, I mean, to be able to do this for her was a great a great thing that made, of course, her really happy, but also made me feel super fulfilled. And it was really all because, the analogy that I used, Tyler, was I put the oxygen mask on myself. How on the plane they say that if you're going down, and
Yep.
then you can put it on others. And I think that not only do we build, other people's businesses, we build other people's careers, but I also, Tyler, touched on a lot of and I think females experience this maybe more than males because they take on more of a caretaker role, and then they sort of, I gave the example of my nanny who got a divorce, and at 50 something had been a caretaker her whole life, and then all of a sudden her husband wanted to get a divorce, and she was like, oh shit, what do I do? I've spent my whole life taking care of other people. So anyways, brother, welcome to the show, man. You're all the way up in with those cabin vibes. Love it.
Yeah, up in Canada, living in the igloo.
Nice, man. Nice. So tell us a little bit about your story, man. I mean, you were a paramedic at one point. I don't know if you still are, but tell us what led you to finding Legendary and starting with affiliate marketing.
Yeah, so I was a paramedic up until about 2017, and injured in the service with a back injury, which honestly just left me massively depressed and trying to figure out life and where I was going to take my next steps to. Ended up in a sales position with a trucking company, and basically corporate world. Didn't really enjoy it all that much. I mean, sales was fine, but working in the corporate world just wasn't really going to be my thing long term. I could just sense that right away. The benefit of working in the ambulance service is kind of a 4 on 4 off schedule, or make your own schedule kind of thing, which I liked, obviously. um, and then, yeah, obviously, things the last couple of years have gone awry, and I could see the writing on the wall, and I was like, I got to find something different that's gonna help me make my own money versus relying on somebody else, um, you know to give me a paycheck or for a job to be there. So I decided to make the leap online, and looked at a few different strategies, obviously, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, all the usual type ones, and saw someone talking about Legendary on TikTok, as many of us did, and the rest is kind of history. I just sort of hit the ground running. I found myself some great mentors, and you included, obviously, and yeah, just started going for it, and trying to learn the space as fast as I possibly can. So I'm no tech junkie or computer guy, really. I'm doing all this for the first time, but I'm proof that if you put in the work, it can definitely happen. So
Yeah. So what was that initial, take us back to that initial like buying and rolling into the challenge, going through that. And what was that just very first look at like committed learning and what were, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like once I did a little bit of research into affiliate marketing and I sort of understood the business model behind it, um, it wasn't hard for me to enroll in the program and to invest in myself. I'd already been working for the last year up until then, just on some mindset stuff and trying to pull myself out of this, rut that I felt like I was in just from leaving the ambulance service and stuff like that. And an opportunity is just what I needed. And once I had that feeling that this is something that I want to pursue, it was pretty much everything was left in the dust.
Mm.
So.
So you were you already marketing at that point, or were you still in what I would call sort of contemplation, where you are thinking about it and sort of ready to do it, but you hadn't really taken action yet?
Yeah, I hadn't really taken action yet. I mean, Legendary was really my first kick at the bucket, and learning the whole, affiliate marketing space and digital marketing space. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, thinking back to your first couple of weeks of enrolling, because a lot of times people come in, their first couple of weeks are really engaged, they're really excited, and they either find ways to keep that excitement up and keep going, or they sort of fizzle off and go on to the next shiny object. I know nobody can relate to that, right? No, not me, right? We've all been there.
Absolutely.
What was it that actually helped you? Was it the community? Was it hearing other people's stories? Was it attending these wake up legendary shows as well? What kept you engaged, got you inspired, and showed you that I can do this? It's not just other people, but I actually can see myself being successful with this.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it was the community. I took more of a back seat in the community in terms of, like, I would read other people's comments in the Facebook groups and see what other people were doing. I'd found some great people to chat with within the community, just a couple select few. My mentors included, who I talk to almost every day. And they really helped me to get past some of those moments of like doubt and fear, and when something wasn't working properly, really just to dive in and find a source that could either help me or just keep plugging away and figuring it out, kind of thing. Yeah, it's the community is probably the most powerful aspect of this entire journey or system that we have in place here, especially at Legendary. I've also made some amazing friends along the way, just talking to some of these people, and I can lean on any one of them, and they can lean on me for any kind of advice or help when things are sort of going sideways, or you've had a bad week, or things aren't going the way that you'd planned, kind of thing.
Mm.
um Everybody's got some great ideas out there, and yeah.
Yeah.
Community.
Well, that's cool. I believe that that's one of the most important parts of any journey, and I think of whenever you want to accomplish something, I just think it's who is really self-made. You can define that differently. You can define that and say, well, I didn't have anything given to me, but I mean, really truly, if you think about it, nobody's really truly self-made if you define it as if they did it all by themselves. It's whether, when you're starting out, I think it's a support group, as you're talking about, and just finding a couple of people that you relate to and putting some feelers out there and seeing if they respond and if there's a relationship that can be built. It's kind of just like making friends in school. You're not going to make friends with everybody. You're not going to make friends with everybody that you want to or reach out to, but eventually bonds will be built and connections will be made and you'll make friends. And then as you grow a bigger business, the people that you put in place to help you run and operate that business, people that work for you, people that you work with on a daily basis, your team. Those are the people that are going to help carry you to the next level. And I think that it's an often overlooked thing. And for some reason, whether it's human beings' just natural tendencies is to not ask for help, not reach out to others because maybe they feel like they're bothering or somebody, or they don't want to feel stupid, or they just go back to their childhood when they were rejected or it was difficult to make friends, and that keeps them from making those connections and building that support. Anything you would add to that? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things is it's not only about the community and the connection, but it's about the community and the connection moving forward and later on down the road. Because, for a lot of people, affiliate marketing might not be the be all end all, business model that they stay in long term, being online. And, I've already met some amazing people, that we're talking about things, we have things in the works kind of thing. To either help build our affiliate marketing businesses or, to segue into something else already. And, those connections that you build are so powerful just for business in general, especially in the online space. I think that, you can move so much faster when you have the right people in your corner. And it comes down to a lot of mindset stuff, right? Surround yourself with the people who are going to elevate you versus bring you down, kind of thing. And in the future you get to work with those people and build different businesses and different brands, and see how they're building different companies. And yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah. No, I that's been my experience to a T. Is, man, coming in, making connections with some people in, communities, some that are still around, some that aren't when I started online, and just as your hat says, vibing with other people, man, and finding people that I do vibe with, and then the ideas start to, because we're already idea people, and usually we have more ideas than we have time in any lifetime, and then the synergy of talking with other people, and we think of collaborations or start companies or create courses or just be friends. For a lot of people, if I could go back, one of the things that that I think I would have focused more on was just it was like everybody that I met in my early days, I was like, let's do some business together. Let's figure out a way to work together. And what nowadays I really value, just friends, people that I can just who I know I don't have any business or financial anything in the mix. It's just they're doing their thing, I'm doing my thing, we're doing similar stuff, so we don't have to explain things to each other, and we can almost finish each other's sentences, but the relationship is also not muddied up with being in business together. Yeah. I was so hardcore when I started. It was like we're either doing business together or we can't be friends. And now there is a middle ground. There are people I do business with, but there's also people that I say, I purposely don't want to do business with you because I don't want to take the chance of messing up this relationship. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of those experiences yet myself, but I can definitely understand that feeling. It's funny. It just reminds me of a story from my childhood. My dad was a business owner, an immigrant business owner, moved here in '81. And him and a friend were in business together. They were, the best of friends kind of thing. And business got muddied up and the relationship fell through. And 21 years later, my parents decided to get a divorce, and my dad decided to call up his old buddy and just say, hey, this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And, they ended up rekindling a very powerful friendship, but they're not in business anymore. And they know, business can't be done together. It's a friendship zone kind of thing. No business is talked about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand that, though. You don't want to be doing business with every single person that you're in contact with, because then yeah, you're left with very few friends and only business partners, and it gets muddied up, right? And so
I wanted
yeah.
to ask you this, as a new person, you're a lot of people, and even some in the comments are, I got pitched in on Facebook, and I've often wondered, if there's been times where I've just heard that so many times, I've almost felt like deleting the Facebook group, like just like, because there's always people that are there that just automatically friend request people, and then befriend them, or at least make them feel like they're being friends, befriending them, and then they, of course, well, by the way, wanted to, and then they pitch them something, which is naturally the spirit of capitalism, and just, if you're coming into the marketing industry, you're going to get pitched on stuff. But I just wondered, did that happen to you, and how did you deal with it, and how did you sift through the folks that were pitching in private message, and still actually value the community that is here, and figure out how to take a positive from it?
Yeah, so this might be a blunt answer, but before Legendary, I didn't have a Facebook. I hadn't had a Facebook in probably 10 years. So I really started Facebook from ground zero. And pretty much anybody who was trying to friend request me when I first started my Facebook to, be able to join into some of the communities, I was like, no way, I ain't doing this. Like, delete, delete, delete. And I was just blocking people, and the people that I really started to like let into, my Facebook were people that I was seeing on, TikTok, fellow affiliate marketers that I was seeing, doing well in the space or up and coming. I would message them on TikTok kind of thing, and, try and start the conversation there. And then I would kind of bring it over to Facebook, and we sort of built our own little small community. I really like, and still to this day, like, if somebody friend requests me, I'll do a little, background check, a little digging on them, see who else is friends with them, whatever. But generally, I don't accept any friend requests on Facebook if it relates to much to do with marketing.
Yeah, interesting.
Like a lot of those people, and they're not bad people. They're just, I don't think they quite understand, what they're doing. But yeah, they get very salesy very quickly. And some of them, they're like, oh, I see you're starting out this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I'm already doing what you're doing, but I do it differently. So don't bother coming at me, kind of thing. So yeah, I just turn it off, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Facebook's not my favorite platform in general. Like, and
yeah.
everybody who knows me knows that I'm not a huge Facebook user. That platform gives me no joy, right? So
I feel you, bro. I feel
yeah.
you. It's such a conflict, right? Because like in the past, I've also wanted to take this show off Facebook, but it's like people are there, man. And it's the same thing with Facebook groups, dude. It's like there's all these other platforms that have that you can be more in control of how the group works and interacts, and be free of distractions, and you try to pull people and get people to join them, and it's like tumbleweeds, man. But you start a Facebook group, and people are all, it's just like it's like trying to get people to change a habit, dude. But I think from a like, like, oh, don't put your left shoe on first when you've put it on that way for your whole life. It's like trying to tell people to not have dinner at the time they have dinner every day. It's really crazy how addicted we've become to Facebook. But I totally agree with that, dude. And I want to say officially on the record myself that, I mean, we as a business, I think as kind of a company and community, like, get value from Facebook because we stream on Facebook. I think we could stream on YouTube, or we could even stream from legendarymarketer.com, just the home page every day. Like, we could do that, and that could be a test that we run one day. But so we do get some value, the Facebook group. I think it's more social proof for us as a company, like that, oh,
Yeah.
we've got a bunch of people on in our community, whatever. But I agree, dude. Personally, bro, I get zero like value, dude, from it. And at this point, whenever I'm going on Facebook, it's like a subconscious thing to where I'm just doing it out of like almost this sort of repetition or habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just
Well,
some real ass shit right there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
You have like so many people are bothered by the whole social media aspect of it. And I mean, I wasn't a huge social media person either when I started. I mean, like I said, I didn't have a Facebook. I certainly didn't have a TikTok account that I was actively like posting content on. I was just watching funny videos. Instagram is really low key. I had a Instagram account with just a bunch of family and friends on it, and that was it. And I posted.
The
I
truth is, yeah, what social media platform is, I mean, this is such a they all have the ability to be toxic, right? They all have the ability to just waste your time, suck your time, and it's really a what are they, is that an oxymoron where it's like this, it's almost like, as somebody said, the necessary evil. It's like we use these platforms as creators, but if we spend too much time as consumers, it becomes, we get into comparisonitis. It becomes toxic from getting sucked into political bullshit and propaganda. And I almost feel like and that was my real spiel about Facebook. But like the truth of the matter is they all have that tendency if we're in consumer like being hypnotized by these platforms, right?
100%. Yeah, I think it's something that you have to like recognize and like almost just turn that side of your brain off. Like the only thing that I really scroll through, social media for is one, to support some of the members of my community, and second is looking for interesting content ideas or interesting copy or something like that.
Yeah.
But and it's funny actually, because something that changed very early on for me when I was starting out with affiliate marketing and with Legendary is, I used to listen to the radio going to work all the time, right? And I found myself not wanting to listen to the music, but wanting to listen to the commercials because I wanted to hear what the
Yeah.
marketing was, within the commercial, right? I wanted to hear what some of the copy was, what hooks they were using, kind of thing. And I scroll social media with the same kind of mindset. I'm a marketer. I'm looking for things. I'm looking for ideas. I'm specifically scrolling for, an idea of what I can do for myself and my business. I'm not scrolling for the pleasure of it. So
Yeah.
I think that's the difference right there is when you have your mindset set on that goal.
Yeah, and being intentional, right? It's like I can totally relate to, for me, if I could, there's some apps that I could do this, but if it was my, like, this was something that I wanted to spend my time doing, I would just like take, and there is a Facebook timeline eradicator that you guys, like, for Facebook, if you wanted to download that, I think it's a Google Chrome extension. It only works on desktop though, but you can actually eradicate your entire timeline. So when you go on, you don't see anybody's post. Your only option is to post and be a creator if that's a platform that you market or post on. But I think for me, I got to be real aware and I got to be real intentional with how I use platforms. And if I'm going to go on, like, I'm really into like wristwatches, like collecting watches and stuff, kind of like how some people are into collecting baseball cards or whatever artwork. And I've got a secret Instagram that I have nothing but watch content on it. You know what I mean? Um, and so anytime I want to mindlessly scroll, and kind of just look at people's stuff, like I'll go onto that Instagram and just mindlessly scroll. But when I go on to any other platform, if I gotta be intentional, I gotta be aware that I can easily get sucked in and lose an hour or two if I'm not careful. And I can easily take a couple of chips away from my self-esteem if I'm not careful, because I'm looking at other people's shit, and then automatically that's making me judge, oh, I'm doing better or worse than that. It's a human thing. I can't shame myself for having a human reaction. We all have that. When I go on Instagram and I see dudes doing workouts and having like 12 packs, I'm going to feel shitty about my 1 pack. You know what I mean? About, the fact that I haven't had a 6-pack ever. I thought I had one at one time, but I didn't. That was just me lying to myself. If I'm, looking at, I can feel bad about my business. I can feel right. So I got to be real intentional and real aware about how I use these platforms. And I think going back to a challenge that a lot of our folks have in this community is just when they start to get into the marketing communities, whether it be this one or others, they begin to get hit up by people who have already been doing this for a while, and their main strategy is to shark in groups and to hit, that is how they generate leads, and know that, and have a plan, and I think your plan was fantastic. And I also think the way that you're just like, I don't accept anybody's, I just delete people. I think it's just, I choose who I want to be friends with, right? It's just like your inbox. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been unsubscribing for tons of people's shit in my inbox, because it's like, I didn't do that for a while. And it just, all of a sudden, my inbox was flooded with so many other people's agendas that I need to get back control of that. It's a necessary evil that I need to check my email, but I don't want to be flooded with everybody else's messaging and agendas when I go in. So I need to take back control of my inbox. And that's kind of what I heard you say about Facebook and probably social media in general, right?
Yeah. And like, I'm sure you have multiple emails, like anybody does. But like for new people coming in, and that's one of the things that I did as well. I started a couple of different emails. One's for people that can email through my email list if they have any questions or whatever. And then, I don't use that same email to sign up for somebody else's email list. I see what they're, sending out for emails or what kind of copy they're doing. I have a completely separate email so that it doesn't, I can shut that one off for, 24 hours, or I can go looking at my leisure, but it doesn't give me the red dot on my iPhone. You know what I mean? Where I'm looking at this red dot with, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 email messages on it. And I'm like, totally overwhelmed by how many emails I have to read, because, those emails can be read at any time. I really just want to know if there's important emails that are coming into my inbox that I actually need to attend to right now, versus having to scroll through, one inbox trying to find actual important messages. It doesn't work. So
yeah, I've done that too. It's just whatever works for you, man. I mean, there's no absolute way to discipline yourself. I mean, it really truly is a balancing act every day of just, and you know what, man? I mean, like the phase that I'm in right now, 10 years into this, and I'm not saying that I was always like this, although I do think when I unplugged and really got in touch with my own ideas and creativity, I was always the best and most profitable. But one thing that is so real for me right now is the more I unplug and listen to my own ideas, and the more I get in touch with my real, like, my, my own ideas, man, my own angles, my own stories, my own content, all the wealth of knowledge that I have within myself, and ability to be able to, because nobody can tell my knowledge and my value and my stories like I can. the more I tune out everybody else's noise, there's a few things that I listen to, a few people that I listen to, but I always take it with a grain of salt. And my number one priority is create space for me to be in touch with my ideas and to use the value and the knowledge and the stories that I have and figure out how to use those stories, because nobody's telling that same story and nobody's telling those same nuggets and that value the same way that I can do it. And so the more I block out the noise, and I know there's a big tendency with content creators, because, well, you got to continuously come up with ideas to look at everybody else and just kind of redo their videos and stuff. And I think there's a place for that. But I also think that creating space for you to come up with your own ideas and focus on ways to tell your own story and to give yourself a chance to tell it over and over again to get better at it is an absolute necessity, no matter where you're at in the journey. So you said that you've had a lot of success with Reels, with IG Reels. Talk to us a little bit about your content creating journey and how you've actually been marketing successfully. What have you done that's worked, and what hasn't worked?
Yeah, for sure. I think you kind of nail on the head with being creative and setting time aside for yourself to be creative for yourself without any sort of outside influence or minimal outside influence. You know, people ask me all the time how I ended up doing a lot of my content out on the boat and out on the water, and doing the content the way I do. And most of it was scrolling through TikTok and seeing that everybody was sitting in an office, much like I'm sitting in right now, and doing their TikTok, doing their Instagram, and everybody was doing the same types of videos. They might be a little bit different, and not necessarily people are copying each other, but there's only so much you can do in such a small space. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and film my content outdoors on my boat and just do my thing like I just do. And we'll just see what happens. And amazingly enough, it resonated with quite a few people. I mean, obviously a lot of the, blue collar workers out there who are, that's what they do. They work 5 days a week to be able to go hunting and fishing with their kids, or hunting and fishing with their buddies, or, whatever the case. Right. And they're looking at a blue collar guy like me, like, okay, like, this guy can go online and make some money and eventually be able to quit his job 6 months down the road. Like, okay, this actually is, something that I need to take a look at. So that's kind of where, yeah, a lot of the majority, I would say probably 90 to 95% of my content is all filmed outdoors on my boat, on a hike, just doing whatever, just, living my lifestyle the way I want to live it. And yeah, I mean, I don't need a whole lot to survive. So yeah, I mean, I don't need like $50,000 or $60,000 a month to be able to survive. So what I'm making off of affiliate marketing right now is surpassed my 9 to 5 income, and
Wow.
great for me. And that's, if I can get a little bit further than that, I'm even happier. But, all I really needed it to do was to supplement my 9 to 5 income. And I was pulling the pin and I was out of there, and now I can work and focus on my own thing. So, yeah. Maybe not the smartest idea. Usually most people strive to double their income before they do that. But I was like, no, I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to leave, because I see this as being more my speed in life kind of thing.
Well, not me. I had I sold my truck and had $1,000 to my name, and said, I'm done doing construction, and I'm going to go full time online. So, yeah, it's hard to recommend for me from like an ethical standpoint, for people to quit their jobs or put themselves in a tough financial situation. As a matter of fact, I try to take a more kind of safe route. I don't want to be the guy who's responsible for people, losing their shit basically all over the world, because Dave Sharpe told them to, what he did, and that they throw out the plan B, quit the job, fire the boss, go all in. I mean, it's like, well, and then they go to their wives, they come home to their wives or husbands and they're like, why'd you quit? David Sharpe told me to, and then they're like trying to find me and murder me. But, yeah, man. So, I mean, I think that's great. Like, how does that feel to now, just a couple of years ago, you were as a paramedic does, saving people's lives. You transition to saying, hey, I'm saving everybody else's life, but I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like there's no end in sight for me. I'm not able to do the things that I want to do as much as I want to do them. I'm not getting rich doing this. And so I'm gonna save my own life and then live my own life the way that I want to live it. How does that feel now, being where you're at?
It feels pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I had a 24-month goal to hopefully be able to quit my job one day with online business and online marketing, right? And I never expected to be making multiple thousands of dollars a month. Within my first 6 months, I was like, if I can make $500 a month for the next 6 months or a year and start figuring things out, like, I would have been happy with that. But I was fortunate that I found something that worked for me. I found content that worked for me, and within 6 months, I was already supplementing my full wage, and I did it 3 months in a row. I think I did it 3 months in a row, and then that was it. I was like, I'm out of here. And it feels amazing. I mean, I love having the freedom. I got my dog here, and I get to spend, the day at home with him. I get to go on all the walks with him and stuff like that. Yesterday, we hiked up the mountain, and I get to go, fishing as much as I possibly can. I'm very fortunate to live in an amazing community just here around my house. And my neighbors are all super great. I get to keep my boat in the water next door, so I can just pop over there and if I want to go just have a mindset break or whatever, I can go do that for an hour and a half or whatever. I don't have to rely on a company to give me a paycheck. I get to rely on myself, which, yes, is very stressful. Don't kid yourself, anybody out there watching, that quitting your job is easy and all of a sudden the money's just going to keep coming in. Like, it's funny. I don't know if it was you, Dave, or somebody else, but I was watching some webinar or some Wake Up Live, and they were talking about the first 1 to 3 weeks after quitting your job. Initially you quit your job, right, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get so much work done, and I'm going to do all these things, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And like the first 2 weeks after quitting my job, I got like nothing done. I was just enjoying the sheer fact that I was like home. Like, okay, like whatever. And like 2 weeks went by, and I look back and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't done anything. Like, I got to get on this now, right? And then so all of a sudden that kind of light bulb clicked, and the real stress started to hit. Like, oh man, I haven't had a paycheck in 2 weeks. Like, I got to make that. So, I mean, I think it happens to a lot of people, but you just have to recognize that it's happening, and then eventually, without too much time having passed, you got to put your nose to the grindstone and get her done, and start seeing those commissions coming in and see what you can do for yourself in terms of bringing in a paycheck, right? So
yeah. Well, and what to do, right? I mean, I think a lot of people don't forget that after you do this for a period of time, it will become second nature, just like your job is. When you walked into your job, say, for example, your paramedic job, did you know everything and feel super confident and super laid back? The first week or two, you're probably shitting your pants, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I would be. I mean, I don't care how ready I thought I am. If I'm going out on real calls, dealing with real people who are like dying or in some sort of a emergency, yeah, dude, I'm like, I got a extra pair of underwear in my bag at all times. I'm like, dude, I can only imagine. So, but it's not just that. I don't care if you're going into some clerical or some plumber I mean, you're going to be freaking out. anytime that you start something, but the beautiful thing about quitting your job and then effing off for a couple of weeks is you knew what to do. You knew what you needed to do, because you had already done it. You had a couple of months or a few months of proof. You had validated things. You had taken instruction. You had built community and support, and it was just simply time to stop effing off 24 hours a day and work a little bit each day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's been an awesome journey, honestly. And I mean, like I said, I got my start, online with Legendary, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. I mean, I took the information, and I just kind of hit the ground running, and I found that community that could help me. And for anybody out there that's just like, they're struggling with trying to find the information, or they're struggling with trying to, build out their back office, whatever that looks like. There is people and there is community out there that can help you, whether it's within Legendary or doing your own research outside of that community, just following people that resonate with you on TikTok and trying to reach out to those people and having a conversation. That's probably the number one thing you talk about on Wake Up Legendary, is having that conversation with people, whether it's in a conversation to, talk about the business and potentially get somebody involved, or, have a conversation with somebody else who's already doing kind of what you want to be doing, and, figuring out how you can make it work for yourself and your business. I mean, having those conversations is probably the most important aspect of this digital business, really.
Yeah. And using common sense in those conversations, right? I mean, I had a sponsor one time when I was getting clean back, 13 years ago. Many of you know I got clean from a pretty crippling drug addiction, and have been clean since then. But, I would call him. He was like a sponsor, a mentor, kind of like we talk about having. I mean, it's just somebody who came before me, a predecessor, right? And I'd call him and I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And he'd be like, Dave, you got clean. You didn't get stupid, And I think that same thing applies here. It's like you started a business. You didn't get stupid, use common sense, you did use your built-in bullshit detector, don't all of a sudden start a business and then become a victim. Don't start a business and act like you just fell off the turnip truck. The majority of us have been out there hustling and talking shit and manipulating and whatever we had to do to survive. And now it's time to actually, for me anyways, I realized a lot of my past had developed survival skills that I could use in business.
Yep.
And I could use the values that I also was raised with, the integrity and the honesty and the straight shooterness, and I could use all that stuff now. I didn't have to bullshit my way through life or anything. I could just be exactly who I always wanted to be and knew I could be. And that's why I talk about turning your mess into your message and your struggles into your strengths. I think being an entrepreneur gives us the opportunity to do all of those things and enjoy life. And that's clearly what you've done, brother. So congrats, man. Thanks for coming on. Even though we were a few minutes late here, dude, it's fine. I could care. I would have talked about you even if you weren't here, and then we would have had you on later. But thanks for popping on. It's been fun. And come back and keep us posted here in a couple of months if you would.
Awesome, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Tyler. See you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, so go and follow Tyler and connect with him on both Instagram and TikTok. He's wildman_marketer. Wildman_marketer. And you can go on a journey with him out on his boat and in some of those beautiful spots that he is blessed to live in and enjoy every day. And you can, make a determination whether you want to continue to live where you live, or as your online business grows, maybe you'll want to grow or go live somewhere like where he lives. I know I certainly at least want to go vacation there on a regular basis, because Canada and Canada in particular, but a lot of, you know what? A lot of places around the world are so damn beautiful, and most of us will, just don't even know they exist until you have the space and the financial abilities to go and see them. So, again, go follow him, wildman_marketer. And the last thing that I have for you is text WUL. Okay, text WUL to the number on your screen. 813-296-8553. And every morning we'll send you a little text message notification with a direct link right to the live. And you can join us or not, and wake up every day legendary. We'll see you back here tomorrow, same place, same time. Get out of here. Have a great Monday. Be legendary. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.